this smoke, and went out there, and we travelled north when she went west, and she was out there for about 3 hours intercepting the ship, and then she came back to us and let the ship go. But as we went past the rear of the Sydney while she was out there, we never saw any signals till we got past the back of the Sydney. Then we saw a flashing light on the back of this boat just about sea level. So, but actually for boat itself, we never really saw a boat too far away to see the boat. But and then the Sydney came back to us after about 3 hours, and she came alongside us, and she started to, both ships pulled up and stopped together, and they brought an aircraft up from somewhere, and 2 people were in it, and they tried to start this plane, and I presume they were pilots, and did not start after some time. So they put it on a crane and put it down in the ocean. 3 or 4 other fellas went down there to help these 2 fellas get it going. I presume they were mechanics. They did not start, so they put it back on the boat, and then the Sydney, when she got going again, she took off and went as far as she could, nearly out of sight. And the chatter on the boat was, there must be submarines out there. Is there subs out there? I think there's subs out there. So you get 600 troops talking like that on a boat, you're convinced at the end there were subs out there. I never saw a submarine, and the Sydney never saw a submarine at that stage of it. So that was the afternoon to 17th, and then in the meantime, we had our K-pop life jackets on for nearly 5 hours. And I tell you what, they get very sore under the neck. You've had them on that long. And now we took them off and we started heading north overnight, and on the afternoon of 18th, they saw a boat coming towards us, and they told us it was a Durban. She's going to take over the escort, and the Sydney started from a southwest direction, started the southwest of us, and all the crew was on deck in white uniforms. She'd done a ceremonial parade around it, and when she left us, she went back in the southwest direction, and all of us mates said she's going to look at that ship that she was intercepted yesterday. When she intercepted, let it go, we thought it was a Dutch ship, so we couldn't dispute it or anything because we knew nothing. And then the Sydney went down in the southwest direction, and 19th it got sunk, and I went on to Singapore with the Durban. The Navy says it was in Sundra Straits, but I think it was many miles before Sundra Straits, because we went into Sundra Straits overnight, and when you woke up in Sundra Straits, there was a lot of islands there, and there was no islands around us when the Sydney left us to go down the southwest direction. We went into Singapore the afternoon of 20th, and of course when you get to Singapore you throw coins in the water for the natives to drop in and dive in and get them. An interesting part of this story is now that Ned Evans must have been, our lieutenant, was apparently dropping some coins in, and this guy was diving in and getting them. Len Evans went up on G-force, and this Japanese said to him one day, he said, I saw you in Singapore. He said, you were threw coins in, and I was diving for them. Apparently he was 5th column, and I believe he was a major in the army. So that's it. Then we only got to Singapore 3 weeks before the war started, and of course our unit was fragmented right throughout the war. When we got to Singapore, I was on the sick list through my ankle. It wasn't bad, but they called me on the sick list. So I wasn't allowed leave at all. But my mates said to me, oh, you can't sit here all the time. Start bringing all these things home to send to their wives. I couldn't even get out the camp. They come out with us one night, so we go out one night and they take me to a brothel. We didn't go in it, we entered it. And one of the guys said, I'll run upstairs and see what's going on. As he ran upstairs, the POWs came, English POWs came. Well, I'd never seen so many fellas run for their lives. Anyhow, we got back to camp and nothing happened. But the day war started, on the 8th of December, our unit was again fragmented, and 68 people were transferred to one AASC to support them, while our depleted unit done their job as best they could. We were a unit of 210 strong, so about 240. And Major Glasgow tells you all about that in his book, how he had to battle along with only half his drivers and no spotter or spare driver. And now we got back to, after 10 weeks, I never saw any action 10 weeks, but some of them did. And I used to see the big flights of aircraft going over. And I get back to, and of course I never had a slit trench. But for the ASC I used to do night guards. We were virtually guards for them. And you stand out in that jungle at night, you don't know whether it's monkeys or what's else moving, or a Jap in the Boston. I tell you what, you're glad to get to do your night, your shift and get off it in the dark. And that happened a couple of times. And now we got back to Johor Bahru, and my mate Plum Gage, Graham Gage, he said, "You're going to dig a slit trench." I said, "No, I don't want a slit trench." And now, about an hour after, the Japanese raided Johor Bahru with a lot of bombers, and we were about a mile from them. And of course I didn't know where to go, because I didn't know where they actually got a bomb. Because they had their little things only about 2 foot deep and just long enough for them to lay. I had nothing, only undulation. So when that flight had gone, you'd never seen a slit trench dug so quick in all your life. I tell you what, I was glad to have it too. And now, we stayed there, we caught up with all our unit, and then we went over the causeway. I think we were one of the last over, because I think they were taking infantry fellas over first, and of course we went back and made sure there was nobody there, loaded them up and took them over. I went to lost the road, Bukatima.
Bukatima.
Went to Bukatima area, and we're in the sort of scrubland there, scattered with all the trucks. We used to do convoys there, and to take the ammunition around wherever we deal with it. And now I was got in a convoy one day and going down this main road, fairly long and fairly straight, and these fighter bombers or fighters started to come up and down this road, strafing all the trucks. So of course the normal thing is to bail out and go for the channels alongside, which drained the water off of Singapore. And now he went up and down. He only damaged a couple of trucks. There's no ammunition hit. Nothing happened there. And so we gradually worked our way back till some place a bit further back. And we were in a creek for shelter with the trucks in the jungle, and the Japs were shelling. They used to sell this little biplane over, treetops. We couldn't, by the time he got past us, we couldn't get our rifles up quick enough to shoot him, but he went past. 10 minutes after, he'd go back somewhere and he'd radio the artillery, then they would start the artillery. So we were in this creek with the bank behind us and the artillery coming in the front of us, so that the bank was only level, a slope there. And so we got as best we could to shelter that, but Barney Woodbury, he said, if I'm going to get hit, I'm going to get. So he would walk amongst the middle of the trucks. So as far as I know, he never got hit. But we were very lucky as regards casualties. We only had one, and that was Lionel Bennett's. We were back in another area, and we started to strike the Japanese snipers, and they used to get up these trees. And of course, we'd never heard of snipers. That was something that the Australian and their soldiers had never heard of. And now we get up there, we hit a pig, and if you missed, you well and good. But this sniper, of course, we'd shoot him when we found out where he was. But Lionel Bennett was at a house, and I think he saw this Jap. I don't know what happened, but the Jap came around one corner of the house, and Lionel Bennett was coming around the other side of the house, and the Jap hit him on the shoulder with a bullet.